Welcome back to RPG Elite, where we put the RP back into RPG, giving you the tools and tips that's going to make your RPG experience more immersive and enjoyable. Servant of Shiloh, here to serve you once again. And we're back with another skirmish video. But before we get into that, you know what to do. If you like everything that you're hearing here, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And every time that we come out with a video, it is going to notify you and it will be there for your consumption. Now, there's one thing that I want to kind of preface before we get into the actual skirmish tutorial. It's been a few weeks since we have posted a video. And one of the reasons is because we wanted to do some more skirmish tutorials. However, a few weeks ago, we weren't able to get into skirmish. I run a Gamma World campaign on the weekends every Saturday now for the quarantine, and we were trying to get into skirmish and we couldn't. Tried to go to the website and we couldn't. So we were like, whoa, we can't get in. We tried for a long time, for like a half hour or so, and we still couldn't. We couldn't get in. Later on, we tried to get in, couldn't get in. So, and it was hours later at that point. And so we thought that, okay, well, it's over for skirmish. But then came back, tried it again, and I think it was a couple days later, and now it's working like a champ. So that brings us to this. The developers are doing nothing with this right now. I have tried to contact them in several different ways. I've tried to write them on the forums. I tried to write them in email. I tried to write them on their Facebook page. Nada. Nothing going on. So, with that being the case, you must understand that if you do decide that you're going to use skirmish, that at the recording of this video, this is all you're going to get. This is it. So understand that. Now, that being said, skirmish has everything you need as far as the core things you need to run a virtual tabletop. Has everything you need. So if you're cool with it and you like the way that it works, download it, continue to use it. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. We'll try to get to them as soon as we can. All right, today we're going to be talking about character meters. And we're going to be looking at how those work in skirmish. I got 3 characters from an old Gamma World campaign. I wish they were in my new Gamma World campaign. And actually, one of them is not. Simon is not. But we're going to use them for purposes of an example in this tutorial for character meters. Now, let's go ahead and activate these character meters and find out a little bit more information. Go to Game up here on the menu. Click Configure Plugins. Now you have all of these plugins, and they say experimental. Most of them work like a champ. Like, I haven't had any problems with any of them, to be quite honest. So they say experimental because skirmish is still in beta. But what you want to do is click on the box next to it to activate it. And then you want to go to the settings cog, and a window is going to pop up. Now, for some odd reason, it automatically scrolls all the way down. You're going to have to scroll up. And we're going to go through all of these. Now, again, when I do tutorials, I like for you to get every detail so that you can use this stuff and be a boss. So, on the first one, it says can report changes. I think that this is something that was supposed to be for when they developed it more, and it can't really be used now. But it says here at the bottom, sets if this meter should report changes to reportable uses whenever it changes. Okay, so whenever this changes, if it's connected to something else, maybe it's connected to something else in a character sheet or whatever, and it can report it to it. Now, it says true here, but you can't really do anything else as far as I know. Now, I might come back and make another video and say, guess what? You can. So we're going to keep this on true. And I am going to research that to make sure that that's the case. Right now, I'm going to say that you can't, but I might be wrong. So let me research that, and I'm going to get back with you. Like I said, I want you to be a boss when it comes to this. Color, It's just the color that you want it to be. I just changed it to orchid by clicking on it. I don't know how that happened. I don't want my HP one to be orchid unless it's some kind of alien, right? I want it to be maroon. I like that color for blood. So we're going to change it to that. Default current value and default max value. Current value, of course, is what your current hit points are. Max value is the absolute max that they can be. When you go to the default viewable by, you have three options. One is none, where nobody can view it. The other is editors, which only the editors can view it. And then you have editors and viewers, which all the viewers can see it and all the editors can see it. Now, by default, I like to go to editors. Just the editors can see it. For the identifier, now this here is important. Number one, you can only have one HP identifier. And you can actually only have one HP meter. Technically. Okay. You can have multiple meters, and we're going to see that in a second. And you can use them for multiple HP. I don't know why you want to do that, but you can. But it defaults to one and one only. I'm going to show you this in a second. And it says here is used for HP, true. You can only set one to be true. Meter over token height. This basically sets the thickness of your meter. It's set to 8 right now. I like to set mine a little thicker than that. I like to set mine to about 10. It says meter over token hidden when dead. For me, I like to keep that at true. No need for it. You are dead, or the character is dead. No need. What is going to be the name of this meter? And this is going to be for when you click on your token, it's going to be under your character details. It says HP, but for me, I like the whole word. So I'm going to just put hit points. There we go. Says show meter over token. So when you click on your token, or not even when you click on your token, but when your token is on the board, will this meter show up on the board? And we're going to say true. And this last one here says show pop-up on character changes. This is words that pop up on the token every time that you make changes to this meter, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Now, we're not going to do anything with this stuff over here right now. We're going to do that in a second as we get further into the video. So we're just going to click save, and you need to remember to click save twice. If you do not click save twice, your changes will not be saved. So click this again, and look, we have meters above each one of them. Now, I have gone ahead and changed their meters earlier. And how you change their meters, because it's set at 64, right? So like I said, it's under the details on your token. Now we have it at 100, but since I did this before, I changed all of theirs to what it was, what their hit points were. So he had 64, Collar had 59, Thistlepinch had 44, and you change that right here under meters, and that populates as soon as you click save. It'll show up under each character's token. Okay, so if let's say Collar, the big bear takes a hit, and he takes a hit for 10 points of damage. You just put 10 in there. Click this minus for decrease. And as you can see, a pop-up comes up here. The hit points minus 10. And then, of course, we've got blood. If you want to heal them, click the plus icon. And again, that pop-up hit points plus 10. If you want to go all the way down because they just got one-shotted, God forbid if somebody gets one-shotted in a campaign. But if they say they just got one shot at all, he just took 60 points of damage, then all you do is click this set to minimum. It's going to have a pop-up box here. It says set hit points to 0, and we're going to say yes, and look at this. Da, da, da. Dead. D-E-D. Dead. Now, let's say, ah! They're resurrected once again. Then we're going to click on the up arrow right here. And it's going to ask you the same thing, except do you want to set it to max? We're going to say yes. And boom, back up and healthy. Of course, there's all this blood all over the place. And so let's go ahead and clean the blood down here under game. Clean blood. Say yes. There we go. So this is how you set all of this. Now, what's interesting here, I'm just going back to blood here, so I'm going off of meters for a little bit. But what's interesting is that you can set everybody's blood to a different color. So it might be, maybe his is green, Simon's is, maroon, Thistlepinch's is maybe Thistlepinch's is actually green, and Collar's is maybe more reddish red, and Simon's is maroon. So you can also set everyone's blood to be different. Okay, going back to meters here, we're going to go to Simon Black Boot. And we're going to look at Simon's portrait here by clicking on the show full portrait, and it looks like he has a gun. Now, this is Gamma World, and so they have these particular guns, and Simon actually has what's called a slug pistol. And I have the stats for the slug pistol, and I can see that he has, and this is a slug pistol B. This one has a battery with 30 charges. And I want to reflect that on him. So I'm going to click on here to get rid of his portrait, and I'm going to make another meter. So I'm going to configure plugins right here, click on settings. Now over here is where you add meters. The plus sign adds a new one. The minus sign deletes them. So you have to highlight it and then delete it. And then the up and down arrows changes the order. For this, we're going to add a new one. And as you can see, this changes the order. And I like mine in alphabetical order. And so since this is going to be called ammo, I'll move it up. And then it's white automatically. And I don't want mine white for ammo. I want mine to be silver. Hi-ho, silver. It's going to have a default of 100, 100. We're going to put this as editors only. Put the ID as AM, and you can have the ID as anything. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. Just, it's whatever you want, totally arbitrary. Is used for HP. Look, it automatically defaults to false because we already have one that is for hit points. It's like I said, you can only have one. Meter token height, it's set it at 5, and that's what I like. I like it to be a little bit smaller than the HP one. Name, we're going to name it ammo. AMMO. Show over token. For me, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to keep it on true, but I'm going to say no for the pop-up. We're not going to have that, but we are going to have it on the token. So it looks like we're done here. We're going to click save, and then we're going to click save again. And as you can see, I had this, I was messing with it earlier. So we're going to put this at plus, but as you can see, the max is at 30 and he's currently at 30. And if he took a shot, we go down to 1 and we'll say, boom, he took a shot and it's at 1. And every time he takes a shot, it will continue to go down. Now, you can have as many meters as you want, right? But when you first make these meters, and that didn't show up here, but when you first make a secondary meter, it shows up on all of them. So how do you get rid of that? You come down here to editors, and you can just click on you can click none for each token that does not have it. And as you can see, I had already set this to none. When it does, what it defaults to is everybody has it. But Thistlepinch, he's not carrying around a gun because he is a giant Venus flytrap. So no, he's not carrying around a gun. So we're going to push none for him. And Collar, well, he is a bear that has a fungus on him that is actually being controlled by that fungus. So no, he's not carrying around a gun. So we're going to push none. And so the only one that has a gun is Simon. So that is your basics on meters. And like I say, you can add as many as you like, as many as you need. You can add that. So we're going to end this tutorial. Next tutorial, folks, we're going to be talking about movement restriction and movement in general and how you set that up. So until next time, happy gaming.